Have you ever felt completely alone, abandoned on the side of the road? Not a literal road, maybe, but a moment in life where you were deeply hurt and needed help, and the people you expected to show up simply walked past. That feeling is the core of one of Jesus's most famous stories. A story about a traveler on a dangerous, steep road from Jerusalem down to Jericho. This wasn't a relaxing trip. It was known as the Way of Blood, a rugged, winding pass often prowled by robbers. Our traveler, let's call him the victim, was ambushed. They beat him, stripped him of his clothes and possessions, and left him for dead, a broken heap of humanity in the dust. The absolute worst day of his life. The world kept moving, though, and soon the first figure appeared, a priest. Now, a priest was someone you'd expect to stop. This man's entire life was dedicated to God and service. The victim, barely conscious, must have felt a flicker of hope. But the priest saw the scene, the blood, the potential mess, the risk of becoming ceremonially unclean, and he chose the opposite side of the road. He literally crossed over and walked past. His priorities were his duties and his comfort, not the suffering man. Then came the second person, a Levite, another religious professional, a temple assistant. Surely this man would possess the compassion his job implied. But the Levite did the exact same thing. He walked up, he looked, he assessed the situation, maybe he calculated the cost or the inconvenience, and he too crossed the road and moved on. The irony is stark. The people who should have been the first to help were the first to abandon. Just when the story feels like it's going to end in tragedy, a third figure arrives, and this is where the story truly changes. It was a Samaritan. Now, for Jesus' audience, that name would have been jarring. Samaritans and Jews were rivals. They had deep-seated cultural and religious animosity. A Jew would never expect mercy from a Samaritan. But this Samaritan saw the man, and he didn't see an enemy or a problem. He saw a human being in pain. And the scripture says he was moved with pity. It wasn't a sense of distant duty. It was pure, uncalculated, and immediate compassion. He didn't just feel bad, he acted. He immediately dismounted his animal. Think about the risk. Stopping on the Way of Blood was dangerous, and he was taking time away from his own journey. He knelt in the dirt next to the man, not caring about the blood or the dust. With gentle, meticulous care, he cleaned the terrible wounds with oil and wine, the best antiseptics available at the time. He painstakingly bandaged them. This was no quick splash of water. This was intimate, respectful attention to a total stranger's broken body. Then came the monumental task of lifting the man, who was surely heavier than he looked, onto his own animal. The Samaritan didn't ride comfortably. He walked the entire way beside the donkey, protecting the injured man, slowing his entire journey down to a painstaking crawl. He brought him all the way to the safety of a local inn. But his care didn't stop at the door. He didn't just drop him off. He arranged for his ongoing recovery. He paid the innkeeper 2 silver coins, enough to cover several weeks of care, and here is the most radical part, the true measure of his commitment. He told the innkeeper, "Whatever else he needs, whatever expenses you incur, charge it to my account. I will settle the rest when I return." He committed his precious time, his physical effort, his present money, and his future reputation. He didn't just provide aid, he entered fully into the man's suffering until he was safe, secure, and cared for. This story forces us to look in the mirror. It strips away our labels, our titles, and our excuses. Mercy isn't a theory, it's a verb. It's what we do for the person right in front of us, regardless of who they are or whether we think they deserve our help. It's about being truly neighbor to the one in need. The stranger showed mercy, and in doing so, he showed us all what real love looks like. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and share.